With the Chicago Bears season a quarter of the way over, it is time to take a look at Ben Johnson and how he's done so far early in the season and greatest performance. So what is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Stall back at it with another video talking. It's Matt here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, guys, please do hit that subscribe button down below and make sure to hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. Let's quickly give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, ProfitX. ProfitX is America's #1 sports prediction market, where users play against each other instead of the books, and so you will almost always get the best price on any total spreads, money lines, and player props playing on the site, guys. Right now, if you use my promo code FSC, you can claim up to $200 in profit cash on the site. So make sure you go ahead and check them out. Win real money predicting sports. Terms and conditions apply. One more quick shout out. I still have the giveaway going on, folks. All you have to do is, like the video, comment the video, follow me on my social media platforms, and obviously make sure you are subscribed. You can win Bears merch and memorabilia like the one you see behind me today. All right, so let's go ahead and hop right into this. So grading Ben Johnson. All right, we're 4 games into the season. The bye week is here. This is a perfect time to go ahead and just kind of reflect on the first 4 games of the season and grade Ben on how he's done so far. So to me, I had 3 things as far as my criteria for Ben Johnson when we hired him, as far as what I believed he was most responsible for. And I would say it's kind of in this order. Number 1, it was going to be to obviously develop the offense and make it eventually elite. But essentially, that's what he is brought in here for. Mainly, that's what his calling card is. He is an offensive genius, offensive guru. So it was improve the offense and develop the offense. And the number 2 was develop Caleb Williams, which is huge here because obviously I don't think Ben would have taken the job if Caleb wasn't here or if he didn't believe in Caleb. So that was the second thing that to me was really important. And number 3 was going to be improve the culture of this football team, because we really needed to get away from the stench that was Matt Eberflus and that culture, lack thereof, and previous Bears coaches. So just coming in here and just really shaking things up and developing the culture, especially with the locker room becoming sort of cancerous, after last season. So those were the 3 things that I had. Notice that I didn't have wins and losses as much on here. And so that's where I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the Bears' record and say, hey, they're 2-2. So clearly, you probably can't give them an A, but I don't weigh wins and losses as much for, Ben Johnson in his first year as most or many Bears fans do. And let me just be fully transparent. If the Bears were 0-4, it would be easy to say, oh, it's been a disastrous hire and Ben Johnson has been awful. But context matters. If the Bears were 0-4, but they're putting up points and the offense looks good and Caleb's developing, that is still, to me, progress. That's still, to me, important. And that's not, the world is ending and the, everything's a disaster. So just keep that in mind here, by the way, okay? I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. I have been saying all offseason that wins and losses don't matter to me as much this season, so I can't come up here and just be like, oh, yeah, Ben Johnson's 2-2, and, he got blown out once against Lions, and then obviously the team choked away a lead in game 1, so, he sucks. I'm not obviously going to say that. But let me just say that it's not going to be an A, right? You can't give an A just because of the fact that, hey, obviously you did get blown out there and you obviously did have that letdown in the first week and then you just escaped, against the Raiders, or else that could have been lost. And again, I'm not saying 1-3 or 0-4 would have been the end of the world for me. I'm just saying a letter grade, you're obviously not going to get an A there. So to me, taking a look at those 3 things that I had as the criteria, which was improving the offense, developing Caleb, and improving the culture, I believe Ben Johnson has done each of those things. He has improved the offense. The Chicago Bears right now are averaging 25.3 points per game, good enough for 12th overall in the NFL. So they're in the top half of the league as far as offensive production. That is a check there for that. He is developing Caleb Williams right now, who is, top 10 in passing touchdowns, top 5 really. And he's a guy who is obviously progressing each and every week. He looks more comfortable in the pocket. We're talking about an 8 touchdown to 2 interception ratio. So to me, Caleb looks like he's developing. And then the culture. The culture definitely looks improved. We see the locker room videos after wins, man. He's got these guys playing hard. The culture here is a no-nonsense, all business. You perform, you play. You don't perform, you don't play type of culture. So I love that. So to me, taking all of those things into account, while also taking into account, the wins and losses and how things have gone thus far, I would say my overall grade for Ben Johnson through 4 games into the season is a B+. Honestly, folks, it's a B+. And some of you guys might be thinking that's too high, and some might be thinking that's too low. Let me explain. So to me, I told you, it can't be an A because A would be like completely surpassing expectations, and that would be Caleb looking like an MVP candidate in his first 4 games. The Bears probably being 3-1 or 4-0. And again, not saying I would have held that to the highest standard, but that would have been awesome to see. The offense being top 5 in the NFL. So that would have been the criteria for an A or an A+. So that's why I can't go there. But the reason I'm not going lower than a B+ is because just 4 games into the season, you're a top half offense, really a top 10 offense, right? They're right on the edge there. Your top 10 offense, your quarterback looks fairly solid. An 8 touchdown to 2 interception ratio is very solid. And then the culture is improving. So that only took you 4 games, and you were down 0-2. You already showed that in the face of adversity, you can go ahead and climb out of it and obviously, improve. And so starting 0-2 and going to 2-2 tells me your team doesn't quit. They've got, obviously, moxie. They've got this ability to bounce back, and they have taken on you and your culture. So that, to me, is important as well. So just all of those things combined, man, I feel like Ben Johnson has impressed me through his first 4 weeks of the season. A lot of coaches don't see success this early. I mean, there's still first-time head coaches looking for their first wins still in the NFL right now. So to me, a B+, I think, is a pretty fair considering what Ben Johnson has done so far through the first 4 weeks of his NFL career. So I want to hear from you guys. What letter grade would you give Ben Johnson? Let me know down below, okay? And give me the reasons why. What was your criteria for Ben Johnson? I want to hear from you guys. Would anybody give him higher than a B+ or lower than a B+? Let me know down below. That is my grade. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And as always, thanks for watching.